Hi and welcome to my channel. I'm Simon and today I am back with the tag that I have seen doing the rounds here, there and everywhere. I was going to say that everyone and their mother has been doing it, and actually I would really like my mother to do this. So Louise, if you see this, I am tagging you from the off to do the mid-year freakout tag, which is where I answer questions about what I have been reading so far, the highs, the lows, and all that kind of stuff. And I've loved seeing other people do these, which is why I decided to give it a whirl. It's almost as exciting as the mid-year, like, books of the year so far videos that I know will start appearing in the next week or so. I am very, very, very excited for those. Also, while I'm here, before I start going off on a tangent about my reading year so far, if you have found any new or smaller channels recently that you love, please let me know who they are in the comments down below. I've asked for this on Instagram, but I would love to know because I want to add more new voices and reading tastes and personalities into my booktube viewing. So there we are. Anyway, so let's get cracking. Mid-year freakout tag. I don't know how many books I've read this year, and that is because I left Goodreads, although I've left my Goodreads account open so that if people want to go and see it, they can. But I've moved over to Storygraph and have kept it as a private account just for kind of me to put what's going on, because quite often I'll have to read things for, I don't know, when I've been judging prizes before, I've not been able to put those in my Goodreads and score them, or books for Sky Arts Book Club, for example. I moved over to Storygraph, but I've not been very good at actually keeping a diary of what I've been reading there. I know it's over 50. I feel that I can pretty much say that. How's my reading been How has my reading year been so far? Which is not a question here, but I would say up and down and all around. It's all about survival. Who sang that song? That's going to be in my head all day. Answers in the comments down below. I'm still thinking about it. Anyway, I've waffled on for 2 minutes. I've not held up a book and I should have by now. So let's go through the tag. I'm using my work phone to do this because I still film on my phone for this channel 6 years in. I have bought a camera, haven't used it. Screen's really small and lots of buttons that I don't understand, but I'm planning on learning how to do that over the summer. Anyway, so question number 1, best book you have read so far. Now, I normally don't like to share this before I've done my books of the year so far video, but what the heck, I think most people will be able to hazard a guess at what it is, because I did a video all about this book because I loved it that much. It's The Island of Missing Trees by Elif Shafak. I feel like I've talked about this so much on the channel, it's like giving you a blurb of it is kind of going to be like, we've heard it all before, Simon. But it's about a young girl who's living in London. Her mother died the Christmas before. She's having a really difficult time at school, and over the Christmas period they're asked to write a report on their family history. She doesn't know anything about it because her mother and father came over from Cyprus, did not talk about anything to do with the history. However, we learn about it through a fig tree that her mother and father brought over, who tells us the story as she's being buried for the winter by the father. And we get this kind of sweeping love story, this history of Cyprus and the difficult, horrific times it's been through. And also there's another love story at its heart that I really, really love too. I loved the narration of the fig tree. I loved all the nature writing in here. I thought it was beautiful. There's a scene with a parrot that made me cry, although I haven't chosen this as the book that has made me cry. But yeah, I just thought this was phenomenal. And what I'm loving seeing is lots of you have been picking this up and loving it. I know some of you haven't, and that's fine. We're all going to have different tastes, but it's really, really lovely when you really love a book and then you see other people really love a book. And I had the pleasure of talking to Elif a little bit about it at the Women's Prize party the other week. But me and Elif will be doing a video later this year for Sky Arts Book Club Extra. So there we go. Head to the Sky Arts Book Club Facebook page if you want to find out more. It's always linked down below, and there'll be lots of other content coming up, and actually an interview with another author I'm going to talk about in a bit. Question 2 is best new sequel, and I have got back into my Simon Surreyla series this year. I had read about 5 of them, and I think I've read 2 so far since, so I think the next one's going to be the 8th. And it's I've had a really odd relationship with this series, because the first one I wasn't a massive fan of. There was something about it that I liked, but I wasn't a massive fan of because no crimes happen for like 200 pages, and I sort of need a murder to happen quite early on. And I will say, I can't remember if it was in this one or the previous one that it was in this one. It took a little bit of a while for the crime to be committed. And then the second one has, without spoilers, a kind of an ending that doesn't tie up neatly, and I got really angry at and threw across a room. But then after that, I really got into it. And I think it's because I really like Simon as a character. He's not your typical tortured detective. I like the fact that you get to know his family and you get to know the other people who live in the cathedral town of Lafferton. So yeah, and Susan Hill is a writer whose writing I've liked for a long time. Sometimes I can be a bit like that about her personally, some of the things she says. But yeah, I really like her writing style, and I like the way that she brings these people in this place to life, but there's always like these crimes going on. Although if you lived in Lafferton, blinking out, you'd be worried that you're going to be killed off every 5 minutes. New release you haven't read to, I shall read to you book. A new release that you haven't read yet but want to, question 3. And this is Kiran Millwood Hargrave's The Dance Tree, which I'm really, really surprised I have not got to, because I loved her first novel for adults set on the island of Vardo. It's got Mercy in it, and now I can't remember the title. God, what is wrong with me at the moment? The Mercies, it's called The Mercies, it wasn't The Mercy of anything. I really love that, so I'm really, really, really excited to get to this one. I think when I travel, because I'm going to be travelling for 16 weeks over the from next week, I'm going to take a selection of books, because I'm planning what I'm reading, a selection of books that I most anticipate throughout the year, so that when I'm travelling and I'm a bit, I can have those to look forward to when I'm off in various different fabulous locations around the UK and Northern Ireland. So yeah, this is about, based on a true historical incident where a woman started dancing and just wouldn't stop, and then several other women followed suit, and it became kind of this pandemic of dancing. And spookily enough, Florence and the Machine have done an album based around the same time period, so there we go. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year is question 4, and that is The Night Ship by Jess Kidd. That said, I'm also really looking forward to the new Kate Atkinson book. And lots of you are going, what about Maggie O'Farrell? I've read it. I'm not including that here for various reasons, but we'll come to that at another point. I will be talking about it on the channel at some point, but just not yet. Anyway, yeah, The Night Ship by Jess Kidd. Really excited for this one. Little bit nervous, because for those of you who've known me since I was like blogging Savage Reads, years and years ago. I think I started that in 2007 or something. Or was it even earlier than that? Anyway, I have always said I don't really like books set on boats, and this, as you can tell from the cover and the title, is very much about a boat. But if anyone can win me over to boats, I'm sure it's going to be Jess Kidd. It's a dual timeline narrative. I love those. I don't know if there's anything spooky going on in this. I'm hoping so, because generally Jess adds a little sprinkle of supernatural into what she does. I will be doing an online event with Jess before the book, or around the time the book is released, so keep your eyes peeled for that too. But yeah, really, really excited about that. And this, along with The Dance Tree, are probably 2 of those books that I read in a future reading vlog. Then we have question 5, biggest disappointment. Now, I've had a few. One of them was Heaven by Mika Kawakami, which I was really kind of... Bullying is a really tricky subject for me to read about, because I was horrifically bullied as a kid, like properly beaten up, police were involved, all sorts. It was horrific. But yeah, it's something that I kind of find almost cathartic to read about at the same time, even though it's painful and triggers something within me and makes me feel deeply uncomfortable. Sometimes I think we have to face those things, and sometimes fiction can make us feel seen or heard, or part of our lives sort of, I don't know, shine a light on it or something. Anyway, that's what I think is so brilliant about fiction in a lot of ways. I guess it's some therapeutic qualities, but also being lost in a good story. I just felt that let itself down. I also will say Ali Smith's companion piece I loved some of, and would have mentioned possibly as a sequel that for the earlier question, like the best sequel you've read all year, except I really thought in the third part it lost its way and lost me, which was a shame, because some of the stuff around the pandemic and people who didn't wear masks and all of that, I thought was brilliantly done. Yeah, I just, anyway, that's not... They aren't my biggest disappointments, but I was disappointed in them. My biggest disappointment, because I love this author and the previous books of hers I've read, I thought were fantastic, but I really didn't like The Exhibitionist by Charlotte Mendelson, and DNF'd it because I found the voice of the main character, Lucia, just so whiny and so hard done by but wouldn't do anything about it, and come on, I wanted to just be like, come on, get a grip. But also the way it was written with constant question marks, I just don't like that as a style. And I was really shocked because Charlotte Mendelson, like, this was one of my most anticipated books of the year, but I just felt it didn't, I don't know, it was that narrative voice, it just got on my nerves. I know that like the man that she was married to was bloody awful, but bloody hell. So yeah, anyway, I just was not a fan of this. Sorry, the door's decided to open itself randomly. That's the spirit of someone around Charlotte Mendelson who's furious with me. Anyway, we have that one. So that was my biggest disappointment, but I still want to read the backlisted Charlotte Mendelson books that I have on my shelves, so I will return to her. That was just a bit of a blip, hopefully. Then we have biggest surprise, question 6, and my biggest surprise so far has been, Chris, yeah, could you shut my door? Sorry, a ghost opened it. Imagine. So anyway, back to biggest surprise. Oh, I've just lost my picture as well. Where was it? Oh, it's all going wrong. It was going so well, and I'm going away today, so I don't have time to edit this massively. So hang on, let me go into, like, there we go. So yeah, question 6, biggest surprise, The Promise by Damon Galgut. And I had heard really mixed things about this, and Sky Arts wanted me to interview him for Sky Arts Book Club Extra, which I've done. So I read the book and I absolutely blooming loved it. I thought it was brilliant. It's set over 4 different funerals in one family, and we follow the siblings within that family, and we also follow what happens after. At the first funeral, somebody says they heard the mother of the family who's died ask for a promise to be kept that hasn't been, to do with someone close to the family, and we follow on from that. So there's that going on, there's a sibling element on. There's also what's going on in South Africa, but it's very much on the periphery, but it's still there. It's the sort of book that makes you want to go and find out more, and I love that about it. I love the fact that the way the book is told, you sort of almost like, it's like you're a spirit passing through lots of different people and getting all of their different stories and perspectives and prejudices and, yeah, secrets. And also I love that it's very funny about death. I think I talked about this, I think, when I did a video on it along with Blue Hour by Sarah Schmidt, that in the worst times, in the deepest grief, there can still be laughter. And I've been to funerals with my family before where it's been a crematorium, and then you go outside and then the chimney goes and someone in my family have gone, oh, there she blows. And just like, there are those moments, and this has those, and it sort of celebrates life whilst looking very frankly at death. And I think death is something we don't talk about enough, and we really, really should, because grief is a very odd beast. It's very different for everyone, but if you read more about it, I feel it's a bit like what I was saying about being bullied. You can sort of see moments where it shines light on things, and yeah, I just thought this was fantastic. I think this cover does it no favours, and I would say the same as the paperback. But yeah, I now want to go back and read everything that Damon Galgut has written, and I know they're reissuing them in August, so maybe that could be a project at some point. But yeah, I've really, 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 really loved this, and I had a really, really great time speaking to him for Sky Arts Book Club Extra, which will go live in a couple of weeks. So yeah, now the next question was favourite new author, question 7, and this is really tricky because I haven't read more than one book by an author, and I feel like for me a favourite new author actually, and I know that Grace over at GK Reads has the same rule, I need to read 3 books by an author and really love them for them to become a favourite author. So I'm cheating a little bit because I've got a new favourite author that I'm chatting to on Instagram, and that is Taymour Soomro, and this is Other Names for Love, which I'm going to be taking away with me this weekend. I'm going off grid to one of my favourite places in Wales and just having like a few days of no phones or anything, although I'll have signal when we go for dinners a few times, so I might pop a few Instagram pictures up then, although it looks like it's going to rain. There's been a warning for a thunderstorm, and we're going to be in a tent, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, Other Names for Love, really looking forward to reading this, but Taymour has just been a delight to chat to, and yeah, we've just had a lovely time chatting away. Also, he's very cute. There, I put that out there. What a sauce pot I am. Because sauce pot, oh, it's coming. You think that's saucy? Get ready for the next one. So, yeah, but new favourite author, I'm hoping, no pressure, that this book lives up to the delightful chats I've been having with Taymour. So, there we have that one. Next, we have newest fictional crush. So, I'm a bit like, I'm 40 years old. Do I really have fictional crushes? Oh, yeah. I did in this. So this is just by looking at him by Ryan O'Connell. This is the American edition, which I prefer way more than the UK one, which I like, but I just think this has got something about it. And this is a book that looks at sexuality and looks at disability and has a sex worker called River in it, who I fancied rotten, frankly. So I don't know how rude I can be. I mean, this is the book that made me say penis the most ever on my channel. Not that I go around saying penis on my channel that much, but you know what I mean. But if we're going to go down that route, I love River because he has hidden depths. Does the name allude to that on purpose? I don't know. I should have asked Ryan that when I did an event with him. But yeah, it's the way preconceived ideas are played with, and the way, you know, there's much more to him than the label sex worker that society gives someone. So I love that on a what's the word? I just like that as a theme that was kind of discussed and delved into. I mean, this book is also really sexy because there's just loads and loads of sex in it, frankly, which was very well written. So well done, Ryan. But yeah, I just thought River was just the whole way through, and I love a bottom with a big willy. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, moving on. So then on to a book that made me... Oh no, a new favourite character, sorry. Newest favourite character has got to be, and I hope I pronounce this right because my mum will tell me off if I don't, but it is the Gorgonian, let me do this right. I practiced beforehand. Gorgonian in Stone Blind by Natalie Haynes, which is her retelling of the Medusa myth and is absolutely brilliant. I finished this last week. Or was it earlier this week? I've got my weeks up. No, it was last week. Anyway, I really loved this, and the Gorgonian in it is so snarky and so rude about Perseus and so blunt about some of the behaviour of the gods, the mortals, the demigods, the Gorgons, etc. that just absolutely charmed me. And it's not often that I fall in love with characters. I mean, I'm thinking of Dulcie in The Offing by Benjamin Myers. I literally fell in love with her. I also obviously really fell in love with Hamnet's mother, whose name has now gone out of my brain, which is really Agnes. There we go. But so far, the Gorgonian and the voice of the Gorgonian I will not forget, because it just made me chawl throughout this book, which is also deeply sad and quite difficult to read in parts. But Natalie Haynes just does a wonderful thing with Medusa and all the cast of gods, demigods and Gorgons and mortals around her. So yeah, really love that. Book that made me cry, question 10, was Violets by Alex Hyde, which I just absolutely loved. And I guess if I was talking about a new favourite author that I'm most excited about the next works of, Alex Hyde is definitely that author. This is a story of two different women called Violet, one who has lost the children that she was due to give birth to, and her husband is going away to war. And then we meet another Violet who has got pregnant by a soldier and is escaping to help out with the war, but in Italy, and is hiding the secret. And then it's how we follow on from there. And the fight, well, it made me emotional on several moments during, and actually, as I said, The Island of Missing Trees made me cry a few times, but the end of this book just made me cry with sort of so much emotion and joy and everything. It was just a real... I thought it was incredible. So there we go. It also made me cry happy tears, which links into question 11, a book that made me happy. It's got to be You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akwaeke Emezi, who is officially becoming one of my favourite authors of all time. Can't say new favourite because I've been reading their work for a while now. Could also have said that I had crushes on pretty much every character in this book, be they male, female or non-binary. And yeah, just fancied everyone, frankly. They're all hot. And it also just made me happy because I was reading it when I was on holiday for my 40th on an African island, which was like incredible. And this is set very much on a tropical island, so there was that about it. Just, there's a character called Joy in it who literally brings joy to the pages. And yeah, I just loved this. It was just a real treat to read. And I think what Akwaeke Emezi has done brilliantly is shine a light in, I suppose, more literary circles on how brilliant romance can be, because this is a romance. It's not trying to be anything else. And yeah, it's brilliant. I thought it was ace. Then we have question 12, the most beautiful book that you bought. And this would be the last book that I bought, or the most recent book that I bought when I was in Halifax at the Book Corner, which is a fantastic bookshop, at the weekend, because I was seeing Jessie Ware in concert, one of my favourite ever singers, who was amazing. I bought myself a finished copy of Benjamin Myers' The Perfect Golden Circle, which this doesn't really do it justice of how pretty it is if I hold it like that. I just think it's stunning. And then it's also like so beautiful on the inside as well. It's just, I just think that is absolutely gorgeous, and I'm very, very, very excited for it because Benjamin Myers is one of my favourite authors. So yeah, and Jen Ashworth, who is one of my favourite authors and a favourite friend, said a strange, magical, extraordinary book. So that makes me even more excited. So I'm going to read this over the summer. This feels like a very summery book. I might do a video on books that make me feel summery. If you would like that, let me know in the comments down below. And the last question is, question 13, books you need to read by the end of the year. I don't like to feel like I need to read anything, because I think that's where I can get myself into a trap and I'll start to fight against it or whatever. There's quite a lot of books that I would really love to read by the end of the year. I guess if we're talking about bookish projects, Mum and I are thinking of reading the Bookish shortlist together this year, so that could be a set of books I will need to read for that. I've obviously got all the books that I'm going to need to read for Sky Arts Book Club Series 3, which I'm back presenting. I'm just trying to think, obviously, like, I really want to read all of my most anticipated, so Jessie Burton, Kieran Millwood Hargrave, who else? Jess Kidd. I'm trying to think, there's so many, the new Kate Atkinson, but also I really want to just find authors that I kind of, I want to find some unexpected real treats, and I think my need, reading-wise, for the rest of the year really is the need to read by whim, which is going to be tricky when I'm on the road for 16 weeks. And I keep saying 16 weeks instead of 3 months, because 3 months just sounds like forever and 16 weeks sounds so much more manageable. But yeah, once I'm on this tour, I will stop wanging on about how I'm going on tour for 16 weeks, because I think I've been wanging on about that for several months. Oh, I really want to read Maps of Our Spectacular Bodies by Nadine Mortimer. I'm also really hoping that over the next few weeks, as we start to see people's favourite books of the year, and mine will be coming, I think, the first full week of July, I'm really, really looking forward to what other people's favourites are, and heading to some of the ones that I've not heard so much about, and maybe that'll be a reading vlog too. I have got some reading vlogs planned. Damon Galgut gave me 3 books that I should read. Hanyana Gahara has given me 3 books I should read, and Minnie Driver has given me 3 books I should read. So they're all going to be coming up. But I would love to know if there's any other people you would like me to ask to give me 3 books to read. But yeah, I'd love to know in the comments down below any of your responses to this, or leave a link of where your reply to this is. And also I'd like to know what you would like to see coming from this channel for the rest of the year. That'd be really, really super duper helpful. I'll probably ask you again when I do my favourite books of the year so far. Anyway, I need to crack on and get ready. I'm off, like I said, off grid for a few days, so you probably won't get a video from me until I'm back. So I'm not planning on editing anything, even though I've got a vlog that could really do with being edited and going live. But hey ho, there you go. I'll probably vlog the experience of being off grid too, but just as and when, because I want a few days of relaxation, even though, like I said, there's going to be thunderstorms. But like I said, let me know in the comments below what you'd like to see on this channel going forward over the next 6 months. Let me know any of your responses to the questions if you've not done this tag, or leave a link to it if you have. Let me know about some new or small booktube channels that I should be heading to, and I would love for you to leave me a book emoji below. And what was the thing I was going to ask you to do? I can't remember. I'm going to go. I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.